Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 8 of My Dress Up Darling. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So it seems like Marin's really freaking out over this whole thing, you know. Her essential, I guess you'd call her idol, her cosplay idol, and her really cute little sister who just happens to be bigger. Doesn't help that she's also apparently a talented photographer. So interestingly, it seems like the little sister is the impetus behind everything. You know, she wanted to take the pictures, she started posting them, she made the account. I think it's interesting because, as far as we know, she was essentially an amateur photographer who has somehow managed to become pretty darn good. I mean, it's hard to judge photography within animation, but if we are to take the audience, which is to say Marin and Gojo, at face value, then, you know, she's pretty good. So there's an interesting juxtaposition here where Juju just cosplays for herself. You know, she does it selfishly. And the fame and the following is inconsequential to her. And, you know, Marin does the same thing, but she does it more for the love of the sport, so to speak. Alright, so here we go. This is where cameras really come into play here. It's their father's camera, which I guess makes sense. So they describe it as a DSLR, which, as I understand, means digital single lens reactive, I believe. And that's what it stands for. Essentially, what that means is it's a digital camera, so it uses digital film, and it has a single lens that can sort of refocus rather than having to attach multiple auxiliary lenses. From what little I know, it's the auxiliary lenses that really cost you if you have a camera that takes them. You know, from what little I understand of the industry, general purpose users generally use DSLRs because they don't need to bother with all the nonsense. And I'd imagine, even for professional purposes, like a fairly mid-range DSLR would take care of most instances. So Marin's asking a big question here. Why doesn't Juju's sister take part in the cosplay too? And I'm thinking it's just because she's cripplingly shy. You know, she seems to be that type of person already, so I don't think she would have the stomach for it. So she kind of gives like a half-hearted answer of, ooh, I just like taking the pictures. It seems like she almost does want to, but doesn't quite have the confidence for it. Oh boy, there we have it. Yep, so that's hundreds of thousands of yen, which translates to thousands of dollars, roughly. Yep, yeah, Juju's really delving into it. You know, there's light diffusers, flash bulbs, tripods, all sorts of accessories and auxiliary equipment that make it easier, but at the same time, you know, it's not necessary, but it is a convenience. I think Marin takes the sensible approach of continuing to use a phone, but working towards getting a DSLR. You know, I think that's generally a good philosophy in general. Do what you can with what you have, you know. There's no sense in putting off something just because you might have slightly better equipment in the future if you can do it now. You know, if you want to record music but all you have is a crappy computer microphone, that's better than having no microphone. It's not good, but it's certainly better than nothing, so, you know, don't hold yourself back saving out for an expensive microphone. Oh boy. I think the plot's going to get a little sticky here. They've found this abandoned hospital, basically, where they're going to do their photo shoot, and it seems like a really dilapidated, kind of spooky place. Not the place I would like to go. No, Marin doesn't care, but, I don't know, I think some of the others might. Gojo isn't unduly afraid, but Juju certainly seems like she is. Alright, here we go. The classic, iconic personality. The lady doth protest too much. Alright, so now we're getting a little photography knowledge here. You know, even if you have good natural sunlight, it's still sometimes important to have a flash bulb to create backlighting and all that stuff. You know, you have the natural light on your face, backlighting behind you. I don't know. Like, I kind of understand this on, like, a really basic level, but a lot of the finer points are beyond me. I'm not a photographer, after all. Oh boy, I think with that oncoming rainstorm, the plot's gonna get a bit more thick. You know, surely they can't venture outside in the rain, they'll get all wet, they have to stay in here. Ooh. Yeah, the lady really doth protest too much. I wonder if she's like scared of thunderstorms or something. Okay, no, it really does seem like it's the creepy old hospital. Man, Gojo's like the the Tsundere Whisperer, you know. He's just coaxing all kinds of stuff out of her about why she's so abrasive. Man, just like that, he's made her stop being so angry and start being sincere for once. Alright, so here's the sad backstory. You know, you always want to be the heroes you idolize as a kid, but, you know, oftentimes that's not a possibility. So, you know, Juju might want to be a magical girl, but, you know, it's not really a possibility. Sure, you could dress up, and perhaps that's the next best thing. You know, I find it interesting, this scene of her trying on the first outfit where it's essentially almost kind of like a shameful thing for her. You know, she locks the door before trying it on. Kind of like a guilty pleasure almost. Ah, Gojo, you absolute modest person. You know, I have so little experience, why would you want me to make this meaningful outfit for you? Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. Juju even admits it out loud. She was so insanely jealous of those pictures of Marin that she needs to have an outfit by the same person. Man, jealousy is an ugly thing, but that she was able to admit it, I think, is a testament to strength of character. Here we go. I figure this might be the case. You know, this whole story really resonates with Gojo and his feelings on Hina dolls and beauty. And, you know, I'm noticing a lot of similarities between Gojo and Juju in that they both sort of had this one instance that sparked a dream. But I guess the difference is sort of that one was possible and one wasn't. At least in absolute terms. Man. Poor Gojo, he really wears his heart on his sleeve here. It's kind of unfortunate that Juju doesn't really react favorably, you know, like, why are you so upset? Uh-oh. Oh dear. Gojo, you don't know what you've done. This is a girl who's never so much as made contact with a boy her age, and you just grabbed her hand. Man, I wonder how she's gonna play that off. Uh-oh. Plot gets even thicker. Marin's dragging Gojo to the beach now that it's summer vacation. She's probably gonna pull like another stunt wearing a bikini or something and trying to frazzle him a little bit. Oh, Gojo. He thinks there's some ulterior motive, like maybe we could try shooting photos. I love the innocence here. It's, we're just going to the beach to have fun. Fun, that thing people have. We're friends, aren't we, Once again, Gojo is just kind of, not quite getting it, He seems to think that it's like a really random thing, but, going to the beach, that's, generally considered a fun activity. If only because you're out by the water in nice weather. Of course, the other thing you have to contend with are those damned seagulls. They're basically rats with wings. So Marin almost seems to have planned this whole little outing. I wonder precisely what her motive was here. If she's trying to get all romantic on the beach. Oh, Gojo. You're too innocent, dude. It's like, whoops, I shouldn't have littered by throwing something at those seagulls. Dude, the seagulls deserved it. I think the cops will forgive you for littering if it's a good cause, like throwing stuff at seagulls. Oh boy, Gojo, you gonna get all hung up on it again? An indirect kiss like that? Ooh, he's not getting hung up on it. Gojo, my dude, this is progress. I spoke too soon. Biting the burger is one thing, but taking a sip from the same straw is a bridge too far. Baby steps, I suppose. Alright, so interestingly enough, this was a spur-of-the-moment thing. So, Marin didn't really bring a swimsuit, so you'll just wade into the water a little bit. Ah, man, that's gross that she's just picking up the seaweed and stuff. Like, I've been swimming in open bodies of water like this before, and that stuff just wigs me out. It feels so gross. So, Gojo seems a little bit hesitant to wading into the water. Wondering what that's all about. Like, is it just because it's cold, or what? Oh, interesting. So he lives on an island, but he's never been to the ocean before. Huh. So I guess this is another byproduct of his only real hobby being painting Hina dolls. He just neglects everything else. Oh, Marin, this is fertile ground to build a relationship on. So much stuff he hasn't done, you can do it with him. Man, this is good stuff. When you finally step out of your comfort zone and do something you've never done before, and it turns out you really like it. That's probably one of the best feelings in life. You know, it vindicates, I guess, stepping outside of your comfort zone, being brave. Ooh boy, things are getting a little heavy here. Marin's inviting him all over everywhere for summer vacation. He said he would love to. Not just that he would like to. I bet she's hanging on that every word for sure. Oh boy. Perhaps understandably, she's pretty flustered by her own impulsiveness. Yeah, it's nice to see. The mix of being excited to spend time with them and being flustered at having been so impulsive. There's something appealingly human about that. I like how she said she wasn't there for photography, but she decided to take a picture anyway. Of course, it's probably a nice shot catching the entirety of the ocean in the frame. Ah, man. I really empathize with Gojo. Seaweed's gross. Poor guy. He doesn't deserve that suffering. Alright, that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.